Hey everyone, I'm Troy, and today I'm going to show you a quick and easy way to turn your 4K footage into 3 separate 1080p camera angles. So this was actually one of the first editing tricks that I learned. It's a great way to cover up cuts. It's also really handy just to make the video more interesting if you only have one camera to shoot on. And for this example, we'll be doing a talking interview style. I'll be actually using some footage that I'm going to shoot right now. But this actually works for a lot of other things. It's good for B-roll and stuff like that. And I'll touch on more on that stuff later on in the video. But it's also important to keep in mind that it doesn't matter if you're shooting on a cell phone, DSLR, mirrorless, whatever the case. As long as it's a 4K footage, this trick will still work. So you'll have a nice wide shot like this one, a medium shot with a slider effect like this one, and a close-up like this one. So today I'll be using Premiere Pro. Don't feel like you have to use that program. These tricks basically work with any video editor, including several of the free ones. This is just the one that I'm most comfortable with. So let's go ahead and hop into Premiere Pro. Okay, so the first thing you do after importing your footage is create a new sequence. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to Sequence, and then I'm going to set up a new sequence that's 1080p, but I'm going to keep the same frame rate, which is 23.97. So hit OK. Alright, and then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to bring your footage down into your timeline. And when you do this, it's going to give you a pop-up. This clip does not match the sequence settings. Change sequence to match the clip settings. You're going to want to keep existing settings. And the reason you're going to go ahead and do that is so that it stays in 1080p for the sequence. So go ahead and click it. Next, I like to duplicate the track 3 times. It gives me one for each of the angles, and it'll make it a lot easier to cut later on. Now we simply change the scale. The first shot is the wide angle, so we zoom out to 50%, which you can see up here, which is the full-sized image. Next is our medium shot, which we'll do at 70%. And I like to create the slider effect that you can see with it moving slightly just by adding a keyframe to the beginning and the end of it. Now obviously you don't have to create the slider effect, you can just have the medium shot. However, if you are going to create that effect, it's important that you keep track of the speed that it's moving so that if you're cutting to that shot back and forth over and over again, it looks consistent, it's not speeding up and slowing down. And for the last angle, I zoomed into 90%, centered myself in the shot by changing the X and Y position, and it works nicely as a close-up shot. And that's it, nice and simple. Like I mentioned, you can use this for other tricks. The medium shot with the slider movement, as well as just kind of getting a closer shot, can be really nice for a time-lapse video. They also work really well if you want to do some kind of B-roll shots where you're kind of zooming in on the action a bit. So I hope you enjoyed this and learned a little something, and that's it for me. Thanks.